Hey guys, Don in Pennsylvania here, and today I was going to post up a little video about the Nexus Standard Mark II. And the reason I decided to do this was in my initial research on this detector, on whether or not to purchase one, there was very little information out there on the internet, and this is claimed to be one of the deepest detectors on the market. And I thought I would post up this video just to show you the capabilities of this detector and what it can and cannot do. Now, this detector is not the only detector in my arsenal, and this would probably not be my daily usage detector. In other words, grabbing it and going to the field every day. I have several other detectors that I use quite a bit more than this one, but the point I'm trying to make is this detector fills a niche in my relic counting routines that the other ones cannot. And I'm going to demonstrate what that is right now. Now, if you've ever watched any of my other videos I made, I talk about Pennsylvania dirt. And where I live, the dirt tends to be pretty tough. It behaves a lot like a clay brick. In other words, if you were to put a coin underneath a clay brick and try to find it with a detector, it would be difficult. 2 bricks, almost impossible. And this soil behaves much the same way. All metal mode is generally not a problem, but whenever you switch a detector to disc mode in this soil, that's where the problems start. And to get any depth beyond about 7 or 8 inches with coin size object, you must go to all metal mode, and I'll demonstrate that right now. I've gone through a bunch of programs with this detector, and all my other detectors are pretty much the same way, but there's a 10-inch dime that's been buried for several years. I'm not sure if you can hear this, but all you get is an iron grunt. And depth is pretty reasonable in all metal mode in Pennsylvania, but if you're looking for deep stuff where some of my other detectors leave off, I'll pick up the Nexus and continue on from there. Now, the Nexus is not particularly fast. I wouldn't use it in an iron infested area, and it's relatively heavy. I have 2 coils for this one. I have the 9-inch double O coil, which if you're going to purchase this detector, I would recommend the double O's because it's several inches deeper over the accessory coils like the 10-inch DD. So just to make this fair, I'm going to turn sensitivity all the way down. And the way I use this detector is the same way many other people do. It runs in the all metal mode for the deepest targets, and I use meter discrimination only. So if I switch this to the discriminate mode, it will function much like a conventional detector in that it'll find some of the deeper targets, but you have to go extremely slow and overlap. But to find anything with any efficiency, you have to run this into all metal mode and pay attention to the LED bar here for discrimination. And the way this works is it'll either show a red indication for items that are accepted and a blue bar for items that are rejected. I'll start out in all metal mode here, and it's ground balanced. I've got the sensitivity to minimum. Now here's where my 10-inch dime was buried, and it's basically undetectable with my other detectors in discriminate mode. And once again, I just get a little iron grunt, but look how easily this detector will find a 10-inch dime in my soil. Absolutely no question that there's a target buried there. And let's turn the sensitivity up to about 3/4. No, the detector here ground balance is relatively easy in my soil, so it's not a problem, but... And then here we go. Alright, now let's switch this thing to discriminate mode. Now it's going to behave a lot like a conventional detector. It'll still pick it up, but the signal's a little chopped up a little bit, and you got to hit it just right. And then in one other mode this will function in, the mode switches in the back here. It's either discriminate, all metal, or turbo mode. Turbo mode is more of a digital sound. You can turn up the threshold just till you get a tone, back it off a little bit, and then once again. Other modes for this machine. There's the preset mode, which I don't use very much. It's fixed discrimination, fixed threshold. And for a beginner, this is just fine, and it'll behave, again, much like a conventional detector. Much harder to find that target when it behaves like a regular detector. Switching back to all metal mode. Turn the threshold down there. Now, how much deeper does this go than some of my other conventional detectors? I would say at most maybe 2 inches. Generally, air depths that I see are cut in half whenever you hunt in Pennsylvania dirt here. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully it helps a few people out there decide whether or not this is a worthwhile investment. But for its intended purpose, I don't think there's many detectors out there on the market that'll fit the bill for getting the extra 2 or 3 inches out that other detectors can't. Also, if I hunt with my detectors in sandy or loamy soil, the gap between this detector and most other detectors decreases significantly, and you may not see a whole lot of advantage to one of these in sandy soils, but still, for some difficult soils, if they're not too mineralized, might be a good choice. Thanks for watching.